Hello again. This one's going to be weird. Today I have a plan. I'll tell it to you as it comes. But for now, I've got to reorganize my inventory. Things are getting pretty dire down here. And now, my timeline is immaculate. There are a bunch of things on my itinerary. The first is to rebuild my food stockpile. The second is to stockpile the morphine. Third is to search for a new cloak. And I need 2 springs and 4 bullets for the gun. A chisel and a whetstone for the scalpel. Speaking of which, what am I doing here? Sometimes after dark, steppe people meet at Saba's place. And not just them either. Saba will teach us. She knows the way. She speaks to Earth. Mother Buddha will talk to us through her. And what will she teach you? She knows our traditions. We have long been oppressed. Now we face extinction. We forget our language, our crafts and arts, the art of talking to Earth, the language of herbs, the craft of lines. She advises well. And what advising do you need? Not a simple one, but it's simpler than you think. I want to ask Saba, will our brothers and sisters be allowed to marry? The kin are, well, kin. We're all children of Buddha, and there's so few of us left. Artemy has some very bad advice. Or badly told advice, really. But it doesn't matter. When the kin swallow the town, there'll be neither wives nor children. And you'll become the kin's last generation. I would ask Mother about self-sacrifice. She said we must sacrifice everything for our fellow kin as we prepare to flood the town. I gave everything I had, even my own entrails. Now I'm dying. Did I make the correct decision? What for? I will tell it to Saba. It's a long story. I should save my strength. But you're not looking too good, May. If you're asking me, that was a stupid thing to do. Chillin'. Bita Kharan, you're back. What say you? Who are you? Have you forgotten our faces already? We asked you for help. We wanted to be let into the warrens. And here's what I'll say. You were wrong to come to this town. You should have stayed back in the steppe. Hello there. She drinks a lot of milk. She who, reflection, your master? No one knows how she became herself. Suspicion and fear surround a tale of one who left the steppe. She's said to be inhuman, a doll of clay and bone. Shabnak Adik. There is blood in her veins. The same can be said of Earth. So what? Those are mere legends. My master waits for her assigned time. 5 years ago, during the first outbreak, Earth cast her with a secret task that must have been fulfilled back then. No. Yes. So she's not human. I don't believe you. She feigns humanity quite well, and holds respect and power in the kin. She rules over this hiding place where steppe folk can find escape from being yoked within old Gimski's cruel mill. Here they can hide and heal and run their midnight markets. Are there many such steppe people? Enough. Enough to flood the town. There will be blood. Your father, who she worships without understanding, meant the kin to merge into the town to make a body whole. But we cannot, and will not, so she decided to adjust the town to the needs of the kin. She brokers work for brides and odongs, setting them up as dancers or couriers. One wonders why. She doesn't know what she's doing. Indeed, she is not human after all, but love does drive her, like it drives you, and love is blind and foolish. You're lying. She is human. I can tell.
Yargachin, Emshen, Eseger. I see you plainly.
Thank you very much for pronouncing those. Earth, warm your roots, Umshin. Who are all these people, Saba? What do they want? They respect me, you see. I know not the lines, but I sense Earth. I speak to them on her behalf. They believe I am made of soil, like Shabnakadik, though they don't call me that. So you're like a religious teacher to the kin. Did father know? No, I shielded him from this. Remember, it was I who loved him. I was not loved in return, for he regretted me coming into being. I reminded him of his bitter sin. What sin? The first outbreak. Do you know how old I am? I first awoke 5 years ago when it happened. There were many dead, and many of the dead were of our people, the Katanga. The crude sprawl is a poor district. But what were you shielding him from? From what is about to happen. Katanga want blood. He was a kind man. He needed not to know of his people's anger, of how he himself stoked that fury. They would never hurt him for what he had done. He was too venerated. But they will take it out on the town. So you're all plotting rebellion. I teach the truth of the kin to these people. I retell our old legends. I remind them of Bodo's will, of how the world is a body. I hear the earth and speak her will for them. I make sure they know where they came from and where they are going. A sick people, a weak people needs this. Our future hangs by a thread. And why were they asking me then, and not you? I knew that would happen. You have done well, following the lines. You think so? My answers were not the same you would have given them. They believe they come here for advice. False. They have long since made up their minds. Now, only their weakness sows doubt in them. We take on the burden of that doubt. Whatever we tell them, they'll do what they think is right. Yeah, I used to flip coins. I always knew what to do before the coin even fell, no matter which side was up. And here becomes the journey. My plan is, I travel through the sprawl, the factory, and into the warehouses where I will go to the shady shop. I will pass to the gut where I will go to the pharmacy. I will pass to the mall where I will go to the grocery. Depending on if things are rancorous or not, I will either go straight to clothes or to the pharmacy, which I will go to after the clothes, if I go there. And then I will go to the theatre. I have a second plan. I will be here eventually. A children's stash is here somewhere. I will then travel down and up to the grocery, the clothes, and to the shelter. If future Mike has something to say, he's going to start saying it. Oh wait, no, this verse. How fares your kind, Katanga? Do you know what an Udur is? What does the Kanjo sigil stand for? A body that contains a world. Everyone knows that. But what does it mean? Behara. It can be a creature made of many creatures, like a family, a taglur, a group of people bound by the same fate. I see. Our words are erased, Katanga. We turn our fathers' flutes into sticks. We take old words, big words, and apply them to small things. But the connection to the source is still there. The lines, remember. Yes, connections are like things. You can't just tear them out. Kushk for matches. Kind of dire. My trading options are not so great. I will nonetheless do my best. I have suddenly made a new decision. I will sell those black twires I picked up. This is a dead end. I will talk infrequently. I find it quite likely that I will speak in the future rather than the present. You may not even be hearing this right now, depending on my opinion. of when I should start talking. First they locked the termitary, then the murders. Now the factory stopped, unheard of. Fat Vlad would work us to death with no rest or sleep, and his domain never stops. And now they're cordoning off districts too. What's going on? I wonder myself. An emergency at the factory, I guess. And now there's some sort of poisonous soot in the air. That's what people say. We'll see what soot it is. This district is locked down, under Dr. Dankovsky's orders. These districts are off limits to anyone but medical personnel. Are you that Vorak guy? Now that's news. What's going on? Why's the area locked off? People say something happened at the factory, like an emission. Toxic soot in the air. Makes your eyes water in a minute. Wouldn't be smart to go in without protection. And what does your beloved Dankovsky say? He says, the district is locked down and off limits to anyone but doctors. Vorak allowed. Burak. He sure has memory issues, doesn't he? Immunity boosters. 2 pills. Protective clothes. 1 unit. Here you go. Protective clothes? Good idea. That area looks unclean. Very unclean. We have got another cloth mask and another pair of boots. We could sell these off if we were feeling funky. Hello, it's Future Mike. I've got this late night carousing on silent for you because I'm not doing much of interest to you. Past Mike still has some things to say, but pay no heed, he's an idiot. Watch how he crawls around town unaware of the fact that he is losing what little ground he hopes to gain from this excursion. His hunger and exhaustion drain throughout. He treads water, finds 1 ampoule of morphine, and loses all his money. I will have already cleaned up his mess by the time he wakes back up. What else to talk about? Remember that time I half mumbled that story about losing a race once? Turns out it did have a point, which I can actually tell now that this dialogue is pre-written, and my psychological disorder will not jam the gears of my brain from telling you something of merit. A lot of the discussion about this game seems to be largely about how crushingly disempowering it is, but I cannot personally find such a discussion particularly noteworthy, so instead, have you checked out how much Artemy Burak can run around town? Sure, he needs to drink water to regain his stamina, everyone does, but oh golly, I can't run that much, for that far, and for that long. And in a hay fever season, no less. This game appeals to the power fantasy, to me, about being able to run a lot, and not end up coughing up my lungs. Artemy can do a lot of cool stuff that I cannot. He can buy and sell items, he can talk to lots of people, even children, and have real, actual conversations. Also, he knows surgery, a thing I also cannot do. My survivability is critically poor. But what can I do? Well, I like reading the town map, and I have enough experience in dramatic arts to confidently sight-read a lot of dialogue, and hopefully emote or dictate it confidently enough. I can try my best, basically. And that's another fantasy this game can give you, knowing you tried your best, another thing I'm not very good at in real life. I will never be as crushed playing this game as I was during that cross-country race.
I can work miracles. I just lay hands on a person and they... You know, if they had cancer or a tumor or something in the blood. I'm not very good with terms, but God loves me.
3 years ago, a cure for typhoid was found. 4 years ago for the Blue Death. a year ago for a strain of smallpox. Science is all-powerful.
Local medicine can do a lot. Although while studying, I started to see it as backwards, but it did work at times.
Well, satisfied with your boasting? Trying to impress each other like little kids? Unbelievable.
Enough with this ridiculous meeting, you bunch of quacks. No type of medicine will help you here.
Something we haven't done yet.
To climb out of the pot, you'll have to burn your hands.
Our theatre has seen better days. The repertory is getting stale. Same play over and over again. It's beginning to get on my nerves. I'm not a theatre goer. Never understood the appeal. No one does. Old theatre is dead. The building we're standing in is just a shell of a theatre. A cocoon. An abandoned chrysalis. Hell, maybe even a coffin, should the play be a flop. You know, the world's a stage. I've truly taken that to heart. What do you mean? I want full authenticity. I will move the play outside, into the streets. Actors play out real events while being in the middle of them. The audience doesn't know they're in a play. The actors that they're being watched. Such is my method. Intricate. The actor must understand how to work deaf. I'm not making this one for the audience, but for the actors themselves. Their inner world is the stage, their worldview, hence the unusual methods. Unusual and rough. It's the theatre of cruelty. Is the outside not cruel enough for you? It's a different kind of cruelty, not the one you're used to, being unforgiving towards yourself mostly. But you need not concern yourself with this. Why? Look, I do what the subject demands of me. I'll set your tasks gradually and uncover the method step by step. Else you'll sabotage the process. You're here for an audition after all, aren't you? Me? No, I'm just curious. Future Mike again. I've had the chance to play a bit of Pathologic Classic HD in between sessions. It's good. The onboarding's a bit rougher, the quest system is way more jank, and I do not like the map as much. But the textures and models, oh baby, moi, that's a chef's kiss from me. Really like that architecture. You also get a longer amount of time to be able to appreciate that architecture too. I wish there was a button I could hit that could stop time so that I can just stare at the fun structures in this game. Alas, there's this cute little canopy in the southwest area of the map nearby to a bridge. Next time I play, if I get the chance, I'll stop to look at it and tell you how much I like its design. Tread lighter, will you? Or you'll wake up the mistresses. Victoria would be fine, but what if you disturb Nina? She's dead. She was only terrifying while she lived. We sometimes get together in a nutshell. It's like a place. We go there in the evening, in the morning, even at noon. All in all, we come and go as we please. If you get a lead, go to the nutshell, will you? You'll find someone there, eh? Hey. Nina Kaina the Wild has not found her resting place here. Even in death, she remains passionate and restless. Victoria Ulgimskaya, the Warm, has not found her resting place here. She rests across all the town's streets, houses, and yards. I think it was silly of me, prior, to not disclose how much of this game I've played already. There's no point to keeping trivial secrets, and I'm a poor liar. I've played up to about the start of Act 3. Part of it was because I wanted enough familiarity to be halfway competent. This amounts to a small degree of practice and preparedness for treating certain afflictions, as well as the art of breaking into infected and uninfected homes. But also, the recording sessions have been plagued by hot weather and fan noise, or the construction occurring outside my window, which you might be able to hear right now. But the game's fun, and sometimes I just want to play despite the circumstances, which would make for that, despite any circumstance that would make for poor recording. But please, nonetheless, look forward. Just a day and a half longer of this game, and I'll finally be flying blind. Good night, everyone.